Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is David the Sunrise to Others, coming back at you with another live video. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about gaslighting, right? Gaslighting is the favorite tool of the narcissist, right? And understand, whenever I talk about narcissism, the objective is not to diagnose anyone as a narcissist. It's for you to be able to recognize when you are in the midst of narcissistic abuse, right? And for many of us, we don't know. We don't know what it is. We never heard of it. I had never heard of it. And so I want to talk about how black men are being gaslighted. And when I make the connection, a light bulb is going to go off in your head like, wow, I didn't even think about that. So one of the things you have to think about. So let's say I deliver pizzas in the evening, okay? And let's say it's evening, the sun's down, and a woman runs out from the side of a house. She's bleeding, she's beat up, her clothes are pulled off of her and ripped off of her. Now imagine that I pull over, I see her, I'm like, whoa, are you okay? And then she says, somebody just raped me, right? And imagine if my response to her was, well, man, I mean, what you expect? Like, look how you dress. And why you out here at night, right? I start asking all of these questions. The objective of the question is to minimize and trivialize the experience that she just had, right? And the reason I want to do that is because I abuse women, right? So if I abuse women, the goal then is to manipulate the narrative to minimize the capacity for me to get caught, right? So if it's not seen as abuse, then I can get away with much more abuse. So yesterday I posted a status about losing my house, right? I gave, it wasn't a real detailed, right? Because everybody who know what happened. Everybody who knows what happened. So yesterday I posted the experience, and it went viral. Like it's like over 200, maybe 300 people shared the status. I've never had that happen before, right? Where 300 people shared my status, right? But apparently it triggered a lot of people in a lot of ways. So a lot of those women, like, it was posted in some groups, so people came, so some of the women came on my page, and that's what they started doing. Now understand, I say this, I worked hard for my house. For those of you who know, 75 to 90 hours a week I worked, right? So that my wife could stay home, so that my children could have a nice home environment and a nice life, right? I did that. That's what I did. Now imagine I lost all of that for nothing. I didn't beat her. I didn't cheat on her. She didn't have to, like, she had my security. She can go through my phone and check all my messages. Like, that's the kind of open relationship I had with my wife, right? She was my best friend at the time. But she saw interest in another man. And as such, she destroyed the relationship that she had. And her mentality was, you are not going to leave here with anything that you built in this relationship, right? So she set everything up to make me lose the house. Now women are coming asking me, well, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? And I'm saying that's the same thing that if I asked a woman who was just raped, who was just sexually assaulted, if I asked her, man, why you out late at night like this? Like, there are things you could have did to protect yourself. Like, no, I need you to understand, the objective of these people is to move the attention away from the predator, from the actual predator, right? Now, some people say, well, there's two sides to every story. We only know one side. Like, no, there are some things you don't have to know both sides, right? There are some things you don't have to know both sides. What the person did was so atrocious, was so treacherous, was so diabolical that you don't need to see the other side, right? That's why I posted a status kind of jokingly about the Jews yesterday. Me saying to people, Hitler killed all those Jews. And then somebody saying, well, there's two sides to the story. Like, no, there's no two sides to the story. We know who Hitler was, right? That was pure evil. And so what you have is, you have a lot of these women, and it's only been women. I'm sorry, like, I didn't make that up. Now, in defense, there have been women who have came and shown the appropriate empathic response, right? I'm sorry this happened to you, brother. I know what it means for a man like you, a black man in America, trying to build his family, trying to protect his family, trying to build his legacy. To do that, to have somebody do that to you is foul, right? They understand the pain and the suffering that comes along with that, and they connect with my humanity through that. But I'm saying, in general, black men are afraid to tell their story because they don't want to be gaslighted. So just like we when we take the woman in, we make sure she's okay. We do the rape kit because we want to make sure that we have the evidence to build the case against the person who's the actual predator. We don't question her relentlessly about what she could have done to avoid that situation. That's not what we do. Why? Because we value her humanity. When people do that, when you see people doing that, when you see people minimizing and trivializing your traumatic experience, they are narcissists. At minimum, they're narcissists. They might be sociopaths or psychopaths. But just keep an eye on that. When you see that happening, because one sister came on my page talking about, you just don't want to answer the questions. No, I answered like a series of questions, and then I realized like, oh, there is no answer. Right? Every answer I give, she's going to produce more questions. Right? Why? Because she's trying to minimize and trivialize the experience of a man so she can continue to abuse men unabated. That's what she's doing. And so you have to know that when you're seeing that. And so know that those people are abusers. And at minimum, they are protectors of predators. And you can't act like that's not the case, right? Especially in black families. You have sexual predators in black families that people still, just imagine somebody sexually molested a child, and then that child got to grow up with people, hey, Uncle Ray, and it's giving Uncle Ray hugs, and giving Uncle Ray acknowledgement, and giving Uncle Ray support, when Uncle Ray done raped about 3 girls in the family. That's what y'all do. That ain't what I do. Because my empathy is always with the person who was the actual victim, not the person who's pretending to be the victim, but the actual victim. And so for me, there are certain stories you can't tell me, right? Because when I see the degree of the damage done, and I ask the appropriate questions, right? Not questions that dehumanize the person that had the experience, but questions like, oh, well, how did this happen? When did this happen? Okay, did this okay? And then I immediately apologize to the person. Look, I'm sorry for your experience. You didn't get that at all. There was no apology for my experience. The fact that I lost my house that I worked for. Everybody who knows me know. They know how I took care of my family. And whatever she's out there telling people about what I did or why she left the relationship, everybody know. I honored my wife. Ain't no woman who can tell you I was in her inbox. Right? I hear that all the time. These married men, not me. I ain't the one. You ain't gonna have that on me. Because my legacy was always about having women to be able to respect and regard my masculinity appropriately. So that when they spoke my name wasn't mixed up with infidelity. My name ain't mixed up with, flirtatious behavior in regards to women. Right? I didn't want to put that on the women in my family. I say the women, I have daughters. Right? I don't want my daughters going around here talking about my daddy was a thot. No, I'm not a thot. I don't get down like that. And so the point I'm making is just be aware of these people and who they are. One of the things about flying monkeys is flying monkeys are always in the effort to protect and defend narcissistic abuse. Flying monkeys are always in a way they're protecting the narrative for their own evil, right? They don't even have to know the woman, right? They don't even have to know the woman. If anybody is saying anything negative about the woman, regardless of whether she actually did the thing or not, right? You lost $75,000 of your children's wealth chasing a random dude. You ain't even know this dude. Just chasing a random dude. You lost $75,000. Now understand, people are coming at me saying, why you ain't do this? Why you ain't get a lawyer? Like, I don't even get into that because it becomes clear to me that these people don't know the reality of black life. Talking about getting an attorney. Let me tell you, when I went to talk to the attorney, they said a $2,500 retainer and $250 an hour. Right? If I would have put a GoFundMe up, how many people you think was going to drop down? And that's what I'm saying. We don't defend, we don't protect black men. And because we don't defend and protect black men, then we don't have quality black men.